years now. And I originally started when I was interested more in the sports field. So I did the sports injuries management and remedial therapy. And then I went on to study acupuncture and Chinese medicine because I knew I couldn't use my hands for the rest of my life. And then I knew there was something different. There was something missing in that modality. Then I went to study Ayurveda, which some of you may or may not know what Ayurveda is. Ayurveda is the science of life. So it's a 5,000-year-old medicine, and it's very specific on treating the causative factor of disease. So to me, it just made sense. And then I continued and went on to neurostrategy. So I knew that a lot of my clients were suffering with things of the mind and getting the mind to settle. So we worked on the strategies that they were running that were causing them to keep continuing health problems. So when you link it all together, it's a very holistic approach, and you can actually look at a client and go, okay, what else is going on? What was causing that? Because sometimes it's not only what you're eating, it's actually how you're thinking that's causing the process. So yeah, so that's a little bit of and I've been an athlete my whole life, and I got into it because I was training for the Olympics, and then I ruptured my disc and I had a pretty bad situation going on. And then it changed the whole direction of my life. So,
I didn't know that about you, Jo.
Oh, you didn't?
What were you training as?
Well, you'll be really shocked. I was training to be a hammer thrower, right? So I got, I got an A. I only did it to get an A in HPE, and then in 5 weeks I was in the national team, and state team, and then in the national team, and then I continued. But it actually was interesting because when you look at my DNA does not mix with heavy duty weights. If I do heavy weights, my body puts on fat, and I was 95 kilos then. So, and really muscly, but also a bit chubby as well because my body was putting on fat. Then I went to do cycling and 30 kilos dropped like that. So I changed the sport that suited my body type, and then it just changed everything.
I'm sort of like having a little chuckle inside, just not about that, right? I'll share it with the viewers because they will get this being spiritual. But I've actually seen Jo's soul blueprint, and I've seen into Jo's soul, right? So you guys know that I do the readings, and I'm an intuitive reader. And it just transpires that Jo is like an ancient Ayurvedic doctor, one of the original pioneers, right, from India. He's like pioneered this whole system. And when I was speaking to Jo, I just saw this very clearly in her. So I'm just seeing that, and then I'm seeing you as this like Aussie woman hammer thrower, and it's just like it's so awesome, the lives we create for ourselves, right?
It was so funny when you shared that with me, and I told the Ayurvedic doctors who have mentored me, they go, oh my God, that makes so much sense. That's true. It's very funny.
So funny. All right, cool. So I'm just also looking on my phone here because we've got quite a few people watching live, which is great. And we're seeing, I'm just inviting you guys as well. So Jo's going to share her screen in a minute and go through a presentation with you on what you need to know about the coronavirus, what you need to know to best support your immune system, and like some really empowering information about health. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to keep my eye out on my phone so that I can ask Jo, and we can have an interactive session as well, right? As we get to the end.
Perfect. Sounds awesome.
All right, Jo. So do you want to share your screen or give us a bit of an introduction at least?
Yeah. So one of the things I want to share with you, there's quite a few things that I know that clients are asking me on a daily basis. I have a clinical practice here locally, but I have clients all around the world. So, there are so many things that is challenging because we're actually in not a pandemic. We are that, but we're in an infodemic as well. So the problem is that there's too much information coming at us that it's too overwhelming for our conscious mind to handle. So we have an unconscious mind and a conscious mind. And our conscious mind is a thinking part of our brain. It has to process all this information that is coming in. And our unconscious mind processes it in 214 millibeats per second. So it can handle it. So all of this stuff that's coming in that is feeding, like the news and the media and the newspapers and all these different things, and all, I mean, there's so many theories and everything that's going around, and people are like stressed about what is this, what is this, what is this. And then the conscious mind only can break things up in 5 to 7 bits, right? So there's a massive overwhelm, there's confusion, there's all these things that are going on in people's mind. And so then it actually creates a lot of the health challenges. So when I talk about today, the fact is, why do people get sick from this thing? Why are people dying from this thing? Because the coronavirus, it's a virus. There are many viruses around the world. It's not the virus that's killing us. It's the lack of our immune system and how we're responding to the virus that's actually killing us, right? So I don't know if some of you, and we can give you all this test afterwards. We have something called, can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have something called the Health Spectrum Test. So the Health Spectrum Test is a free test that Roger Hamilton and I, we co-created Health Dynamics together, which is linking the Chinese medicine and the Ayurvedic medicine together. Ayurveda has the science which is written in the traditional text. And these science, and I'm going to explain what virus is in Ayurveda in a second. But if you look at the disease process happens in our system in 6 stages. So we've created, which is called the health spectrum, which is the lighthouse. So to know where, and you would love this because it goes up in chakras, right? So, you got the base chakra up to the crown chakra. So obviously when you're at the crown chakra, you're at vitality and vibrance, and like everything is more vibrating at a completely different level. And this is where we all want to be, really, in this mindfulness prism, which is good health and above. When it comes down to the disease process, disease just doesn't happen. Disease happens over a period of time. So stage 1 of the disease, everything starts in the gut. So if the gut is not functioning, then nothing is functioning, right? So you have a look at your stomach, and your stomach has to digest food. So when it doesn't digest food properly, it's called the stage, which is accumulation, which means something is not digesting and you have a response. Now, children are really beautiful at doing this. They say, "Mummy, I have a sore tummy," right? And they go, "No, Mummy, I don't want to eat." So what do we as parents do? Sit down, eat. You got to eat. You need energy. You need this. You got to go to school, and you can't go on an empty stomach, and all these types of things. So the disease process starts. Children have intuitively a good connection to their mind and body to say, no, my body has to process something right now. And if I eat, it's taking away my ability to have energy. So that's the first sign. The second sign is aggravation, which means something comes now into that stomach and mixes with that toxin, because the toxin is there because something is like not working. So it mixes, and we call this in Ayurveda dosha. And dosha is there's 3 different doshas, which is vata, pitta, and kapha. And not to make it, too confusing if you haven't heard those words before, but vata is like air and ether, which is air and space. So it will cause a symptomology of dryness, like constipation or bloating. And the second one is pitta, and pitta is heat, right? So it is a mixture of fire and water. So the person will have a feeling of like reflux or indigestion, or like a process of excess heat in the body. So we know that that's the issue. And then the third one is kapha, which is earth and water, which is more mucus, more heavy. So this person in their digestion will not feel hungry at all, or have nausea, don't actually want to eat. So you'll have these digestive complaints. Now, if I saw all my clients at that level, we would fix so many disease processes, but they don't come at that level. They're usually taking something like symptomatic, or, oh my God, I'm so bloated and I don't know what to do, and I've got this thing, and right? So that's the second level. The third level is if it stays here in the gut, it will start to cause problems. So what is your body designed to do? Your body is designed to keep you alive, right? So it'll say, well, I'm going to spread everything around your body. I'm going to use this lymphatic system. I'm going to move everything around, and I'm going to share the love, And so as it's going around, you start to feel the symptoms of like tiredness and fatigue and achiness. that low in energy and sluggishness, and everything doesn't feel so good, right? So again, no disease, no actual thing that you can say. The doctor says, oh, I have something, you've still got these problems, and you could go to the doctor, you're fine, you're just stressed, go and have some rest, go and have a holiday, go do something. And the person is still like, I don't feel good. The amount of clients that come into the practice, or that I see internationally, I'm so tired, I'm so fatigued, I've got a foggy head, I can't think, I've got no clarity. They definitely are in stage 3 of disease process. Stage 4 is localization. So localization is that now the toxin has moved into a weak area of your body. So let's say, if you have an injury, a back injury or a knee injury, or you have like a problem with your skin, or you have problem particularly somewhere in your body, which is a weak area, and it could be in your lungs, or something where something is happening. So those toxins will move into a little home where the body is weak, because it knows it's weak. It knows it can harbor there and it can stay there. And so that it gets stuck. So when it gets stuck, then you have symptoms of, oh, I've got a sore back on my knee. And you always hear this when someone says, oh, the season has changed, or the rain is coming. I can feel it in my joints, especially the older people say that, because things are stuck, they're not moving. Again, this is stage 4, which is localization, still no disease. But you'll have a lot of people in pain, and so people come to you for 3 reasons only: pain, loss of function, and vanity. So the amount of clients that I've had who've had psoriasis over their whole entire body, but only come when it comes to their face. They're like, oh my God, now you can see it, right? So the localization, it has gone into disease at that point. But if it's a skin condition and it's localizing in a weak area of your body, then it's always going to go back to that place unless you cleanse it out and get it out. If at stage 3, we always say, by the way, before I continue, if you do not detox your body, which is like you take your car to get it maintained, if you do not detox at the spreading level when you've got the symptomology, it will go into the next level. There is no doubt. It goes in, because it's like, a fountain that keeps overflowing and it can't go anywhere, right? And so it's pooling and pooling and pooling. So it goes into that. The 5th stage, so this is where people are suffering in the coronavirus, is the 5th and 6th stage normally. But it doesn't mean it can't happen in the other ones. But the people who are dying are usually the people, as you've heard in the media, who've got some underlying condition, right? So disease process, which means they have something that they're suffering with, whether it's heart condition, whether it's cholesterol, whether it's, lung condition, or whether they've got asthma, or they have some sort of digestive upset or diabetes or something. There is some underlying health condition which the doctor has already given it a name. You already have a change in your blood. You already have a change in your pathology. At this point, the doctor can say, I can give you medicine. Now, I think the biggest pandemic that is happening with the coronavirus is not only the coronavirus, but all these people who have underlying health conditions have got all this other stress that's coming on, and nobody is dealing with the health conditions that are already there. Because the doctors are saying, don't come to us, don't come in. So everyone's putting their health on hold, not fixing the actual problems that are going on. And people have then got all this stress coming in, and all their other conditions are actually having more problems as well. And the last one is what we call stage 6, which is chronicity. And chronicity is autoimmune disease and cancer. So this is where the body is turning on itself and attacking its good cells. And in coronavirus, I explained in the second when I explained the virus, exactly how the virus goes rampant in the body. And when it goes rampant, it goes into like a chronicity stage, because it just starts to attack the system. And this is where things start to really go crazy. And this is why the 7th stage is death, right? Because people cannot cope any further. But to move yourself up to spectrum is making sure that you're living according to your body type, and you understand your body really well, and you actually get things moving out of your system.
We've got some great comments coming in here, Joe. Lots of people thanking you for this information so far. Have we got time for a question before moving
Yeah,
to? Yeah.
definitely.
Got a
Definitely.
question here from Suzanne. She's asking, can you comment on the information that points to the age group of 20 to 45 having the largest numbers of positives? By positives, I think she means people who are getting the virus.
Yeah. I mean, because 20 to 45, you look at that age group, what are they doing?
Well, going out, drinking,
Yeah.
smoking,
so,
drugs.
so like, we're not going to get it because we're like, we're young and it's not for us. And, so they've probably been socializing, connecting, doing a lot of things, right? But you'll also find that this age group can get it and also can process it if they are well. Right. That doesn't mean nobody is immune to it. And it's quite interesting because you have the royal family in your country. And, Prince Charles got the coronavirus. They have an Ayurvedic doctor. I know because I know the person and physician that works with the royal family. They have an assigned Ayurvedic doctor for the family. So they did homeopathy and Ayurveda, and he actually got through the disease. Now he is a risk factor for dying, right? So the younger generation have a more robust system they're in their pitta, what we call their pitta stage of life. So we have stages of life, which is kapha stage of life, which is 0 to 20, which is the body is growing faster, like it's an anabolic stage. So the body is building itself. Pitta stage, which is what you're talking about, which is the 20 to 45, they're like in their active stage. There's a lot more attack to the system.
I feel like I've been in my pitta stage for a long time.
and you've got pitta in your body type as well. So
am I ever going to come out of
it? Well, you will, and that'll be a really beautiful turning point. But pitta stage is like, it's a doing stage. So they're always doing, and but they're also struggling in this because they don't want to be locked up. So it's actually affecting their mind as well. So they might be doing a few little things that they shouldn't be doing. So I think that might be what's going on.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you for that. So, do you have some slides there about, I know when you presented this webinar, there was some really great slides about the differences between the coronavirus and other types of flu and cold and what we need to
definitely. Let me find a couple of ones for you. This one I want to do probably first, and then I'm going to go into that, right? Because the Ayurvedic perspective of the coronavirus. So we've all seen pictures of the coronavirus, and why is it the coronavirus? Because it's a crown, right? So there are 7 different types of coronavirus, and I'll go through that in a second. But Ayurveda looks at and categorize. Your people would love this because it has a category of Sanskrit, which is called Krimi. And Krimi is anything that relates to bacteria, virus, or parasite. So they're all related and they're all carried in our circulatory system, our lymph system, our veins, and our arteries. So Ayurveda works with virus or Krimi in a particular way. So it says physically remove the Krimi, right? Now, normally, and this is what the world is trying to find, is how have we got immunization for this? We want to find the cure. We want to find something that if we inject something into you, we can take it away, right? So also in Ayurveda, if you have a parasite, how can we take out the parasite? So the first strategy is to take away, right? The next strategy is to eliminate the cause of the infestation. So this is what the whole globe is doing, saying stay put, stay in your home, don't move, stay locked up, don't have the contamination, and let's keep social distancing. So we are stopping the cause of the spread of the movement. So this is what they're doing here. The third one is to modification of your prakriti. So when viruses come in, and you look at the way the world is set up and the seasons is set up, normally viruses are more, this is why you guys are having more challenges also because of the colder climate that there has been, right? Viruses love the cold. They don't necessarily like the heat. So they actually multiply. So this is why countries that are going into the cold, the countries are getting a little bit panicky because as soon as the cold comes, everything will start increasing. So when you have the modification of what we call prakriti, which is your internal way that your body, you have two layers in, well, we have many layers, but you have an outside skin, which is the skin to your system, but you have an internal skin. And the internal skin is a representation of also the outside skin. So, you know, at the very beginning, you said, oh, my skin is so much better and da, 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 da. Well, that means your internal skin is also so much better, right? And your internal skin is your defense system for your body. So internally, we have a respiratory skin, which is a place where the body goes into its first level of defense for attack of any viruses or bacteria or things that are coming. And then we have an intestinal skin. So these skins are very important to how you have that defense. Now, when something goes in, this is why little people, you know, also, or younger people aren't, and now it's not proven in science yet, right? But in an Ayurvedic perspective, when we look at it, why is the younger generation not having so many trouble with it? Because they have this really fresh, you know, skin that is not toxic, is not inflamed. Because if something is inflamed, it's very easy to have the environment for something to grow inside it, right? So the first level is that. So what we have is on a cellular level and a digestive level. It responds in a healthy way to attack the virus. If it fails, because when a virus comes in, it has a DNA injects itself into you and then replicates and reproduces and makes baby DNAs. And those baby viruses and baby DNAs then go into the system and try to find it, you know, because it needs a host. A virus needs a host. You can't grow without a host, right? So then it goes around, and then if you don't kill it off at that point, then what it does is that it enters into your circulatory system. So when it enters into your circulatory system, like I talked about in that spreading phase, if it's in detoxification mode, when your body is spreading everything around, it will start spreading, and then the body brings in the big guns. It brings in these immune response white cells to go and kill, so your T cells and your lymphocytes, and it goes to try to engulf these and tries to take, but if it doesn't win the war, it's like a war that's going inside. If it doesn't win the war, then everything goes into a cascade, into like an inflammatory like storm inside, and then it's an overwhelming inflammatory response that the system just starts to break down. So you know how I talked about the chronicity, where the body starts to attack its good cells, then it's confused of what to attack. So it attacks everything. So then the immune system collapses, and then everything goes a little bit crazy. So this is how, when you explain it, you know, we look at in Ayurveda dietary herbs, which are really important. So we use, I know you're taking some at the moment, we use some specific herbs to basically protect your system. So every day I'm taking, all of my clients are on like viral herbs, which are helping you to attack viruses and things to make sure this internal skin is getting clean every day, you know, to make sure that there is nothing there for debris. So that's really important. Healthy dietary habits. I've been hearing a lot of people that are going crazy, and they're going, oh my God, I'm at home. I'm close to the pantry. I can eat all day. So they're buffering all of this stress with food. And so they're going in and they're eating things that they wouldn't need to eat. They're overeating, right? Because they would normally take their little lunch, but they're overeating and they're causing. And the other one is lifestyle management. You know, like for some of you, if you're still able to get out and about, exercise, move your body, do some of the same things, and do the mental sort of work as well to make sure that your system is actually working in good shape as well. So that's on a lifestyle aspect. And do you want me to continue on a little bit around, you know, basically the viruses and the 7 different viruses?
The different
viruses. Got some questions.
And also the ones where you put the differences between the common cold.
Yes, I'll do that as well.
Really interesting. Yeah. And we're also definitely going to get solution oriented as well.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So coronavirus is known as a large family of enveloped viruses. The names on it, the spike is what gives it the crown. So this is why it's called corona, right? So it has that viral envelope. So a virus like, you know, herpes, EBV is glandular fever, hepatitis C and V is something that you can catch from cats, HIV, and many animal viruses. This outer layer in the stage of a life cycle is, you know, they need between the hosts. So this is why this is happens, and this is why it stays in the system. There are 7 types of human coronaviruses. There are 4 types, which is more like the common cold. So there are some people in this world that have already had the coronavirus of one form or the other, right? So they've had it.
So it's not new, is it?
It's not new. This is not new. And this is why, China and Singapore, they knew what to do, right? Because when they had SARS and MERS, right, they went into lockdown, and they went into lockdown very fast and contained it very, very quickly. This one wasn't contained so quickly, but you will see that, people, when they came back from overseas, it was like, you need to self-isolate. Singapore is like, we will isolate you. Right. So they took charge, and in China, they took charge. They didn't expect anyone to do what they were told. But in the Western countries, we're like, oh, no, you need to not be, no, that they just took over and took charge. Yeah. And the 7th one is the new coronavirus, which is recently discovered in China, as you know. And this is like full, like the really acute respiratory response. And I'll just go into a little bit of how it's transmitted. It's transmitted and affected through people. So some of you know that. And it's the droplets. So it's the coughing and the sneezing, touching surfaces like doorknobs. And all, these are the things you need to be careful of, because they do, on metal surfaces, it do last for much longer. People go, oh my God, they're going crazy on sanitation, right? Hot soapy water is one of the best, actually, better than sanitization. Sanitization is if you don't have water. So hot soapy water is your best one to make sure that you're doing it. And really be, really look at the risks, and look at how, I'm still treating the practice here and doing all these different things. And we've got patients still coming in because we're not in lockdown. We're in stage 2. So we have allied health, which is essential services, which is what we do, still there. So I'm seeing patients every day.
And it's really interesting to speak to somebody who's not in lockdown. You're one of the few, actually, including myself. We're all in lockdown. It's like, whoa, freedom,
Yeah, I go to the clinic every day and I see my patients, and they come in and we do pulse reading and all those types of things. So yeah, but everyone else around is not necessarily doing that. So, you have to be in direct contact with people for more than 15 minutes to basically be able to get some of this process as well.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting when you shared that, because we kind of, as being in lockdown, we're kind of walking past each other very, very quickly and giving it the word. Of course, we need to, but I found it really interesting when you're saying it's actually harder than we think.
You know what's really funny? On a mental level, people are walking past each other like they've got leprosy. Oh my God, have you got it? Have you got it? Right? I don't want to get it, which is in one way a good mindset. In another way, like, we're also creating a lot of fear inside. So what happens when you create a lot of fear inside? Yes, you need to be responsible, but also the mental state, when people are going, I don't want something, I don't want something, I don't want something, I don't want something. So when you're focusing on what you don't want, then you're more likely to get it. But when you say, I'm doing like you did, you put all the things in place, you got the herbs that you needed, you made sure you were taking all the action, you were looking at your diet, your environment, and all those types of things, going, I'm doing all the right things, so I'm staying healthy, I'm staying well, and I'm going to be really great. So making sure that you put the action in place as well, which makes things really, really easy. So the one thing that you talked about that you wanted to, just some of the typical flu symptoms, early studies have showed that people who are taken to hospital suffering from COVID-19 normally have developed the fever and more the dry cough. So the common cold, which I'll go through in a second, is more runny nose, like head coldy feeling. This is very, very different. It's a very dry cough, like you're coughing up your lungs, right? And it's like, a lot of muscle aches and pains and things like that. Pneumonia is common because the fact is what happens with COVID-19 is for 4 days it sits in the upper respiratory system, which is called that, like more the head and neck. And then after, in the 4th day, it starts to go into the lungs. And then it starts to cause like mucus plaques and starts blocking the alveoli, which are the breathing aspects of the lung. And this is where it turns into like a pneumonia, like a sepsis, and people can't breathe and they feel like they feel like they're smothering in their own, sort of mucus and things like that. So this is why people are on ventilators and things like that, because they can't breathe. on their own. So that these sort of stages where if you suspect it, obviously get tested, and stay away from people. So this is one you're talking about.
Can I just ask, is the dry cough pretty much always common then?
Very common for coronavirus.
Yeah. So if somebody hasn't got the dry cough, does it mean
doesn't mean they can't? But when the medical people will go through it, they'll say, have you got it? So they're looking at some very common symptoms. So this one's here, which is fever, dry cough, muscle aches, and fatigue. These are the common, and that's the onset is sudden. It's not like gradual, like the common cold. The common cold is gradually happening. You sometimes, I'm feeling well, I feel this and this. Then you have the runny, stuffy, heavy nose and, everything. And then you're sneezing and then you have this really sore throat. This is the common cold, right? So this is happening a lot. You have a low-grade fever where, this one you have like a full-on fever. Less common symptoms, but you can get, which is the headache, the coughing up blood, because of the fact of, you're basically got so much heat in your body and it's disruptive, and diarrhea. But the flu symptoms, which is abrupt as well, fever, dry cough, muscle aches and pains, headaches, sore throats, runny nose. So the difference is more the sore throat, the runny nose, and all those types of things which happened more, which doesn't necessarily happen so much in coronavirus. So these are the differences where people are just running to the doctor and going and saying, I need to be tested, and they may just have the common cold, or the seasonal flu. Right. And then people are also running to the doctor and getting the flu injection, thinking that's going to save them, but again, it not to say I can't tell you not to do it, but it compromises the immune system, where I work with my clients and my family, and I build up their immune system to be really strong, so that all of our clients who have done our program are going, oh my God, everyone in the office gets sick, but I don't get sick. I used to be the one to get sick, but now I said, yeah, of course, because your immune system is stronger, your gut is stronger, your digestion is stronger. You don't get that because you kill it off before it gets to you. And it's not that you're not getting it, it's just that you are responding to it really, really fast. So that's the difference.
Yeah, this is really this is good to know, because it can be confusing. I mean, how many of us have all had like a sniffle or a bit of a sore throat one morning, and we suddenly, we're waking up and wondering, get a headache, right? And it's like, oh, what's happening here? Most of us, I think, are sort of very conscious at the moment of these physical symptoms. So I really like what you've shared there. It's really empowering and helpful. Thank you.
Awesome.
Can we talk a little bit about, we've got a question here from Amelia asking us to talk about herbs that you recommend. Also things like, like supplements and all of that stuff.
Okay, let me find, there is some really good information that I put together for you guys.
And I've got a question about ibuprofen. Ethan, my partner, said that he read somewhere that ibuprofen's not good to take because it compromises.
Yeah, there's been some studies done that they've been doing, is because it's anti-inflammatory. So it's messing around with the system. They're saying if you're taking it away, the body is trying to put an inflammatory process in place to basically kill off the virus. And then if you stop that, then what's happening is it's taking that effect. So they're finding that that's actually not being effective as well. So
okay. So if it was a pharmaceutical sort of thing, more sort of paracetamol and...
Yeah, I mean, you're just dealing with the symptoms. You're not actually dealing with anything. Like, we actually use more herbs that attack the virus, So even if I'm traveling, like I never not travel, because I used to travel a lot internationally for speaking and different things. But if I'm traveling, I'll always have my kit for myself, and I'll always have a kit for somebody else, because I always know that if someone gets sick, they always come to me, and then I lose my main kit. So right, yeah. I've done that before, and I've given away all my stuff, and then something happened on a plane, and I'm like, I need it myself. So I always take herbs that are antiviral, which is a sense that it will kill off virus very fast, and within like seconds of feeling anything, I take it in high doses and bang, it's gone within a day. So I just know exactly what to do, because it's not that you're not going to get these things in your system, but what are you going to put in, you know, your kit to actually make sure you do some process with that as well.
Yeah.
So let me jump to what you were asking for, and for some reason my screen is going to your screen. Something's happened here.
We can see your screen fine.
Oh, is that my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, there you go. That's, wait 1 second. I lost my presentation. No, give me a second. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Okay. I'll just find where it disappeared to.
Let's see if there is some. We've got quite a few people watching this, which is great. Lots of people saying, lovely to be here. It's great stuff. So interesting.
Fantastic.
We've got lots of questions here, which is great. So we can really go into this.
Perfect. Okay, I got this back. Disappeared my presentation for some reason. The internet is...
People are asking about the Vata stage. You were saying the different, it starts off with Kapha, then goes to Vata comes afterwards, right? 45 minutes.
I was wondering if someone was going to ask that. So then at between 20 and 50 to 55, you're in your Pitta stage of life, and then you jump to your Vata stage of life. So Vata stage of life is everything starts to change. You start to go into, everything starts to dry up and shrivel up. So if you are more Vata, then you'll have more problems in your Vata stage of life when that's happening. So you'll have more joint problems, osteoporosis issues, more dryness in the skin, more wrinkling. But if you take care of it, then that's how you don't have aging issues. So the question was before, which is how to enhance your immunity with herbs. Yeah. So we know from research that viral illnesses, need the immune response. So if we can do things, which we can also give your clients as well, a PDF on the secrets to how to fight off. So it'll give like a little tip sheet as well. So, if they want that too, we can give you that. It's something that I put together for my clients. And to have a strong immune system is to do this. So antiviral herbs, which I'll show you in a second, some of the ones that we use, are good gut health, which is what I talked to you about, making sure your gut is in good shape, because otherwise it will respond and be affected by any sort of disease, not even the coronavirus. Vitamin D, so making sure you know what your vitamin D is, because if your vitamin D is high, then you're going to have, a lot better response. Now, if you're in, the UK or in those countries that don't get as much sun, then try to get out and get some sun. Do something to increase that vitamin D. Some home remedies, which we use, some different things like the turmeric and the ginger, lemon and honey and things like that as well. Making sure you're getting adequate sleep, so being in bed before 10 is really important. Decrease or minimize the stress is really important as well. And this is something, I've been asked by so many different companies to present to their people because they're in so much overwhelm, so much stress. So I'm presenting on a weekly basis on a webinar, helping their team, especially in the accounting firm, because they're you think that at the moment, you think that the doctor's on the front line, but the accountants are on the front line. So anyone in the financial sector, because they are dealing with everybody's change of business structure, and everybody's change of economical structure. And also probiotics, and making sure you're taking like a really good probiotic to really help your system. So I'll just show you a picture of some of the antiviral herbs that we use. This is what we call an immune booster pack that we've put together for our clients, which is Toxigo. Toxigo is something that we use. I know that you've taken it in the detoxification program because it breaks and liquefies and mobilizes toxins. So making sure that you're not holding toxins in your system and you're flushing them out. And when we do detox, we do a very, very specific process to liquefy the toxins. So this is a good one, just to make sure that inner skin is getting nice and clean. The other one is Virophyte, and Virophyte has a high dose of like andrographis, and andrographis is an Ayurvedic herb, which is the king of the bitters, and it's very good for your liver. But when it's a bitter herb, it's kills viruses. But it's also, andrographis is very known for upper respiratory viruses. So I always travel with Virophyte because, and also it's got pomegranate in. So pomegranate peel is also good for, it's an astringent quality. So it's good for healing the gut lining. Remember we talked about the two skins. So this one takes care of the respiratory skin and also the intestinal skin, because pomegranate is very, very astringent and it pulls any sort of inflammation there. But pomegranate is really good for your immune system. And the other one is Asalok. And Asalok is specifically for mucus in the lungs. So by taking it as a preventative, which means you're building up no mucus in the lungs. So therefore you've got the best environment inside to do a preventative process on making sure you can take care of your immune system. So they're just a few little ones that we use worldwide and in the practice here, that just make sure that people are staying safe.
Yeah, that's super, super useful. And I can personally vouch. I mean, Toxago, I have been on since October, and it's, I mean, all of these herbs, Jo, it's been quite incredible, the differences that it's made, particularly in my skin.
Yeah.
Because I always had great skin, and then when my digestive system and other things and hormones kind of went up the spout, I was getting like rosacea on my cheeks, and it's nearly gone now. Actually,
wow. We have a client who was in our detoxification program. It was really, I wonder if I have it. It was really, really amazing change and transformation with her. Here we go, with her skin. So she did the program and she was having what you're calling is rosacea. She was having all of this, and then she did the program and she went like that.
Wow.
You know? So it was major changes, because this is basically all the heat breaking down the internal channels of the blood that nourishes your body. And as soon as that is healed, then you have that total response, you know. And then and just, I mean, the amount of clients that we have with the major transformational, you know, state. I mean, this is Francesca, and she had like hormonal imbalances and different things. She had endometriosis and all sorts of stuff, and she thought she was beautiful and lovely, and this is her transformation. Wow. So she went and lost 20 kilos, but it's not only the 20 kilos, it's the massive health that she had. So she thought she was a particular body type, and then she actually realized that her body type was actually very different.
She's completely Vata.
Totally. Totally. Very Vata. And you can see, like, I mean, she has the longer face, but she never was to express. This is what she used to be when she was younger. And she thought that because she was Italian, she was a woman, she had to have hips, she had to have all this sort of stuff. She thought, oh, well, that's what I am. But she did our detox program and just basically liquefied all the toxins of her body. And then this was her function, you know, and now she's like this beautiful woman. But, I mean, she was beautiful here, like she's gorgeous.
She's
right?
beautiful in both pictures, of course, but it's that's a huge change. And what I will say, as an absolute foodie, I mean, total foodie, my whole family, we're all massive foodies. I love your food, Jo.
Ah, good.
I love all of the recipes. Ethan does. Ethan's watching this at the moment.
Wow. Hi.
And it's like, I'm so grateful to have found you. I'm so grateful to have found a diet that finally works for me, because I spent so long on different diets, and you know, then I found one that I thought worked for me, but it was basically like just eating loads of protein, right, and hardly any carb. And then I stopped eating meat. So it's like, well, I don't want to.
What do I do now?
Like, I don't want to have to eat like loads of meat anymore, right? That's my values now. So this has been it's really, really delicious food. Your program is structured extremely well, so you get so much support. And I know, and I'm going to be signing up for it as well. You've got coming up a 28-day immune boosting detox, haven't you?
Yeah, we do. And we have a detox, which is called our 28-day detox. It's our most amazing transformative program. I'll just show you like a couple of pictures here, because we've got testimony after testimony. But this one, I did a webinar with Steve the other day, and Steve had this guy was spending $5,000 on Uber Eats because he was too busy, to this. So this is a very typical disease process client who was living in the lower spectrum. So he was 126 kilos. His energy was low, so that's the spreading level. His stress was really high. He was craving heaps of sugar. He had sleep apnea, so he's going into disease process. He had joint pain all over his whole entire body. He had diabetes, the glucose was going up, cholesterol was going up, acidity, testosterone was low. He had gallbladder issues. Now, this is him now over a 3-month period. We started working with him. So now he's 103. He has an abundance of energy. He has low stress. Cravings has disappeared. He is more kapha body type. He only eats 2 times a day now because he doesn't need to eat. He just goes, Joe, I can't believe what my system is like. It's just amazing. He has no pain in his shoulder anymore, 95%. Glucose is completely normal. Cholesterol is completely normal. Acidity is completely normal. Cardiovascular system, like his energy has just skyrocketed. And all of these things are much more stable because of the fact that he actually liquefied all the toxins out of his body. So our 28-day program that we have had takes people through like a journey specifically to their body. Well, it's tridoshic, so it works on the body type, but you learn who you are. This is why you love the fact that it's not a diet, because you don't have to eat calorie counting or this, or go on juice diet or go on this crazy thing. And then all of a sudden when the program's over, your body's confused. We teach you how to reset the gut. And when the gut is reset, your intelligence, and I know your people will love this, your intelligence to your gut communicates to your brain to say, this is what you should be eating. So you have this in what we call in Ayurveda, prajna parada, which is the mistake of the intellect. You start to know what you should be doing and you do it, as opposed to before you knew what you should be doing and you didn't do it. So, there's this shift that happens, and my clients explain it in a way that I can't explain it, but I just don't feel like that. And I don't feel like this. And because your gut is now smart. Your gut is your second brain, and your gut is smart. So we give you food that nourishes your body with the 6 tastes. And when you have the 6 tastes, you crave for nothing. Your body has everything it needs. And it's also getting all the nutrients it needs. So therefore it doesn't have all the crazy cravings. So it's happy,
Yeah. I love those 6 different tastes and you don't feel as if you're missing out or losing out on something. So talk us through how, because I'm going to share some links with the tribe. There's a couple of links that I want to share with you guys, and then Joe is also generously, you're going to give the PDF, and also there's a way that people can find out where they are on the health spectrum as well, right?
Yeah, so a couple of things. They can find out where they are on the health spectrum, and we're giving your whole people a beautiful gift, which is, let me just share my screen again as well. If you have a look at Health Dynamics, we created a program which is not only the health spectrum, which is what I've talked to you today, but there's something called the Health Dynamics test. And everyone was asking, well, some people were asking about Vata stage of life, Pitta stage of life. And the Health Dynamics test basically tells you, once you do the test, you not only find about your mind type, which is understanding the Chinese medicine side, but you find out your body type. So some people are like skinny minis. They're like, they can eat a lot and eat regularly, all the time, you think they're always eating when you see them. And you're like, you never put on weight. Where do you put it? Like, there's nothing there. These guys are moving all the time. They're like fidgety. Their head is everywhere. Their head is, you see a lot of these people in hospitality and arts and different things because they're very like animated. Like you saw that girl, Francesca, she looked like she was more kapha, but she actually was more vata. She had more the longer face. She had the longer arms, the longer limbs, the thinner, you can see like more veins and tendons. Unfortunately, the boys here who are more vata, they try to go to the gym and put on muscle and they really struggle. It's like they can never get it. They always feel, like that they can never put on that muscle, but that's their body type. That's just who they are. The second body type is more pitta, and pitta is more like an athletic build. These guys are more the fire type. So, if they're hungry, don't get in their way because they'll knock you out of the way because they want to eat and they want to eat now. They have more like an aggressive sort of system because they're more on the fire energy, where these guys are more on air energy. These ones are more on fire energy. So they have the athletic, they build muscle easily, they metabolize things easily, they digest things normally easy. They're more of a ready complexion or sensitive complexion. They can be. But when it comes to making sure that they keep their stress and things like that control, they get more frustrated, irritable, and angry, where these guys get more worried and anxious, And then you've got the kapha body type, which is more heavy build, which is more of a heavier structure. We call them the gentle warriors. So they just move around like, a little bit like an elephant, elephants aren't fat, they're strong, so they have a massive structure. Elephants are vegetarian, actually. They don't eat meat, but they're so strong. But they carry, kaphas can carry more fluid and more water naturally. So it's their problem if they're going to have it. So they can be puffy and things like that. They don't have to be it, but it's their imbalance. They put on muscle really easily, but they put on fat really easily. They eat even when they're not hungry. So these ones should only eat 2 meals a day. These guys should eat like 3 meals per day, and these guys need to eat like 6 small meals per day because they can't, their digestion is much weaker. So when you know your body type, you can stop trying to be somebody else. Like, Oprah Winfrey, for example, was trying to eat like a vata, but she's actually more a pitta kapha. So now she understands Ayurveda and she eats accordingly to her body type. She doesn't have any of those, overweight sort of health. She's a strong woman, but she's still like that body type. So when you understand it and then you link it with your mind type and you understand what your mind type is, there's 80 different combinations, and we're going to give your people the gift of doing the health dynamics test, and they can find out which of their combination they are.
That's so awesome, and it's so empowering to find out what your type is, because like you say, there's those 3 types, pitta, kapha and vata, but you can do a combination.
You can, yeah.
And
yeah, so there's 10 different body types. So there's like, ones that are uncommon, which is vata, pitta, or kapha, which means you're dominant in those. It's very uncommon. Or the what we call bidoshic, which is pitta vata, vata pitta, pitta kapha, kapha vata. So it's a combination of one dominant and one secondary. And the 10th one is what we call tridoshic, which you have all balance of 3. That's also uncommon as well. So it's more the ones in the middle that is more the common. So you do find that out, and then you find how to live accordingly to your body type, not somebody else's, and it's not someone else's journey. It's your journey.
So you'll send me the link for that, right? And then I can put it into the thread.
So what we'll do is, because, just for privacy, if you want to have that, then you need to send an email to support at healthdynamics360.com. So if you can let your people know, support at healthdynamics360.com, and you'll ask one of our team, like Jonah, to say, you can just put in the subject line, Health Dynamics Test, and she will send you the test token, because there's a token that you need. So she'll send you the token and the PDF for the immune information as well. So if you do want that, you can take action and she can send those things across to you.
So support at healthdynamics360.com.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm putting this into the thread now. And thank you so much, because I know that this is normally a paid service, right? So
yeah, so that's normally $97 US to actually buy that test. So we're going to give it because, you know, I know how much you love your people and how you want to make sure they're taken care of. So we want to make sure we can give your gift so you can give it to them.
thank you. That is really, really generous and so needed at this time. And I also want to mention there's a couple of other things. So if people want to have a little bit of a deeper look at who they are and what they've got going on, what would you recommend as the next steps?
So I would say, you know, there's two things we've talked about today, which is, you know, doing the detoxification, which is what you did. But I would say if you're wanting to go and find out more about you, or you're worried about where you're at, or you don't know what level you're at, is to do a consultation. Normally my consultations are $250, but because we are supporting the community, you know, everywhere worldwide, so they can take action, we've reduced it to $97 so that people can have an immune boosting consult. And it, you know, if I'm too busy, if there's too many, then one of my other doctors, Dr. Madhvi, you know, Dr. Madhvi, she's our senior doctor. She's amazing. So it'll be one of us that will do your consultation. But yeah, if you want to have an immune boosting consult, then you can book in for that as well.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So that's down from, that's a special, it was $250 US.
Yeah.
And it's now $7 US.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just say to everybody, do that. I mean, seriously, that's money well spent. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we did with you, huh? Because we did an event special to do pulse reading, and you like jumped in,
And then I met you online, and we had a consultant, and that's
And your health has just like transformed.
it literally has. I mean, Athan will. He's probably still. He will testify to this. I mean, he's just like, whatever you're doing, just keep on doing it. You know.
Ah, wow.
Really seen a big transformation in me, and energy levels, and you know, because it was stuck. My health was at a place where it was stuck, and I was trying different things, like lots of different things, and it wasn't working. And in fact, it was just deteriorating.
So what's interesting, and I'd love to know your perspective on this, is because we know when people's health gets better, their vibration and energy shifts. So what happens with you, with what you're teaching your clients and the numbers and everything that you work with, when your health is shifting, what happens?
Well, you get super psychic. You actually do get more clarity and more intuitive, and like you're a clearer channel, basically.
Wow, that's interesting. So you could have like all of these people like just becoming like super sonic, like shifting channels.
The supernatural, the supernormal minds. Well, no, definitely that has been my my experience. But I mean, it's just like, you know, everything's better, of course. You just have clarity.
You can see everything.
And you just,
as we know in Ayurveda, when this is one of the mama points, right, which is the third eye. So as soon as you clear like a lot of your channels, this opens up, right? So you get a whole nother sense, you know, from another direction.
Well, and I think for this community, I mean, I definitely fall into this camp. There's many people in the spiritual community who actually struggle with the body stuff, right? So they can be super like spiritual and in the upper chakras and like very highly conscious, but sometimes there can be like a
disconnect
with the body. And like the body can feel out of control and all of this stuff. So, and I've definitely experienced that myself. And as you're watching this, if you've got 8 in your soul blueprint in a challenge position or a goal position or soul destiny, you probably are also experiencing body challenges. So investing in like a good doctor, a good program, and having a process that works is going to be something that's going to like transform your life, literally. rather than trying to struggle on your own. Like, it's a really good place to put your energy. Jo, just talk about, there's a couple more questions that I'd love to get to, but quickly, I know that you've got this, you've mentioned the immune boosting detox. I want to share this with the guys because you've got a program starting soon, haven't you? What date does that start?
So the program is starting on the April the 20th, and that's our prep week. So it's a 28-day program, but we have a bonus extra week, and the bonus extra week is to prepare everybody up, because we know everybody loves to do things really well. So to have that time to not get overwhelmed, to get everything going. So that's your prep week. And the week 1 is the week after that. So that's when we get down to the nitty gritty. So that's on the 27th of April, and then that goes for the 28 days. And it's broken into 3 phases. As you know, phase 1 is we start to detoxify and start to eliminate and get things sort of cleaned up. And the second phase, we go into the really deep, heavy detoxification, where we really start cleaning out the body. And the last phase is how to maintain, so that therefore you can keep on this journey and still do your life, and make sure. And while my clients are saying to me now, this is the best time because I'm in lockdown. No one's asking me to go out. I can't go to any functions. There's no weddings. There's no that. I've got no excuse to not to be able to eat well and to be able to control it, because you've got more in controlled environment now than any other time that we've ever had in history. Like whenever we can cook, everyone's staying home and they're cooking and getting all into this. So it also puts your focus on something that is really like positive, and you're taking action to actually really shift yourself and use this coronavirus to the best way that you can, instead of going, well, yeah, I could have done that, but I didn't, because people are dying out there, and people are going, oh my God, this is a bucket list thing that I wanted to do. And people are going through this mortality type sort of like ideas where they're going, well, I wanted to do this, and I haven't done it. So, and they're like, I want to take care of them, and they haven't done it. So this is a great opportunity. I say there's yin and yang in everything. Everything is complementary. So there's hot and cold. There's, day and night. So we have to have both to have things equal. So this will go, but to take the opportunity to do something with yourself is the best way.
So empowering to feel that you're taking action towards great health. I mean, it's so empowering. And I don't know about anybody else, but I am so much better when I'm on a program. Right, I'm so
focused.
When I have a program, but I'm great at following programs actually, but left to my own devices, it's like, I can convince myself it's going to happen, but it doesn't always.
Well, it's interesting just on that point, because Deepak Chopra actually says if you follow something by yourself, you'll have less than 45% result. If you follow something with a friend, it's around 55. If you follow something with a group, it's over 65% result, because we are human beings. We like tribe. So we like to be part of something, to do something with people, to get, and this is why the coronavirus is really affecting everybody mentally, because we love tribe as human beings, and now we don't have it. We can't even see some of our family and different things, and especially it's Easter time and people are really struggling because it's like, I used to do this, there's no tribe, so the human spirit likes tribe.
Thank goodness for online tribes, hey, Jo?
Yeah. Yes. Amazing.
Couple of quick questions. Oh, Amelia's saying, haha, 8 in physical challenge here. Yes, get it, Amelia. Totally get it. All right. So Ethan is actually asking a question. He is saying, and I know he's been curious about this, he wants to know about probiotics. Like, what is a good probiotic? How do you know what's right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to find one which is a practitioner range of probiotic. I think you in Europe can get Metagenics, which is Health World Metagenics, which is an international company. But if you can go to like a health food store and speak to somebody, because there's different strands of probiotics, like there's LGG, there's SB, there's different things depending on what's going on with the client and what's going on with the body. There's ones for the immune system, one's been tested with different things. Most probiotics have about 2 billion good bacteria in one capsule, right? So there's a lot. But if you have a probiotic and you have what we call dysbiosis, which you have a lot of bacteria, bad bacteria in your gut, you can take probiotic and be worse. So we always say it's nicer to clean out the gut and then take a probiotic, because then you're putting all the good flora in and feeding it, because even though you're putting good flora in, if there's bad flora, it's actually feeding sometimes the bad flora as well. So just be careful of that. So if you are taking a probiotic and you do get a feeling of like a digestive problem or bloating or something like that, then you've got too much bad bacteria in your system that you need to clean that out first.
Right. Okay. So last I hope you've written that down, Ethan. I'm recording it, so but I'll ask Jo on our next call as well, and she can put the info there. Siv is asking, and this will be the last question, just because we are overrunning a little bit. But hi, can you explain the process of using oil in and around the navel? Are there certain oils which you recommend for strengthening your immune system and fighting the virus?
Very nice question. So in Ayurveda always looks at oil to help support the system. Now, the navel is basically the opening of all what we call your nadis, which are all your channels. So when you put oil, sesame oil is the best. It's more vata pacifying. So in Ayurveda, the stomach region is what we call a subdosha. There's 5 vatas in the body, and it's a subdosha. And it's the apana vata, which controls the reproductive system, the bowel, the digestive system. So if something gets stuck in the apana region, then things aren't moving down and emptying. So when you put oil into the navel and then massage the navel in a clockwise direction and then put a heat pack on, then it actually helps to support the vata and move the air out of the system and calm everything down. Now, if you have also a lot of like constipation or bloating, putting castor oil is better, right? So castor oil will help, because castor oil will help move the fecal matter away from the intestinal wall and help it to loosen and then to be eliminated the next morning. So castor oil pack, or massage castor oil can be sticky, so you sort of need to use a washer over the top, and put the heat pack on. But that really works on opening up all the nadis, and it helps to get the nadis to have some circulation, which is all the channels in your body, to actually help get everything moving in your body.
You are a font of health knowledge, Jo. You really are. I'm so grateful to know you. Particularly, I was saying at the moment, it's like I've got my business coach, I've got my health coach, and I've got a spiritual coach. I'm sorted.
Awesome. It's got every facet of your and I love this. Because sometimes when you prepare a presentation and you're preparing content, you're preparing it in a particular way. But I love the questions because it actually opens up like a whole nother sector, which, it makes it really live. It's really beautiful.
It's been great. Yeah, we've got, quite a few people watching and more people on the replay. And yeah, it's been super awesome having such interaction. So thank you to everybody for showing up and interacting with us. It's great that we can do this right at this time together.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. And just thank you, Jo. Well, personal thank you from me to you.
My pleasure. It's
been so transformative. And thank you for showing up for my tribe today and for empowering them as well.
My pleasure. And if you feel like you have questions and your people have questions, and we want to do little half an hour Q&A and stuff, like to see, if you need any support, just let me know. And we can jump on and do like a little bit of it. So we can just keep, letting them have like good knowledge and stay focused to what you can control, right? You can control your health and you can take control of this. You have only one body. It's not a dress rehearsal. This body on this earth is the one that you've been given for this earth. So take care of it, look after it. Sometimes we take care of our cars better than we take care of our body, So use it as the vessel that you need to be able to do what you need to do on this planet. But you only get one chance in this life to do a great job. Yeah.
So true. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody watching as well. I hope that this masterclass has empowered you, that you feel lovely and supported, and that you've got some great information and tips to like step forwards from here and like feel that sense of safety within your body and your health as well. Thank you, Jo.
Okay.
And yeah, let's stay in flow, and we will keep on serving this tribe and, you know, giving all of you guys as much support as possible at this time.
Thank you.
Bye for now.